when I moved out to California and I spent time in Monterey Park and Alhambra and stuff, I'm like, dude, Monterey Park schools, like if you could flip through the yearbooks, it's literally like 80% Asian. I mean, for someone that's from Texas, I mean, that's mind blowing. I'm like, I've never been surrounded by that much Asian culture to the point where it almost feels like you're in Asia.
All these like super major big cities, like they say they're very diverse, right? And it is very diverse. But it's like diverse in the sense of there's like pockets of like certain communities and stuff.
Yeah.
So then when you go to
the technical term is
enclave. Okay. So but when you're actually there, it's not really diverse. It's like all one race.
Yeah. So by nature of that, it's just segregation, like natural segregation of itself.
Yeah.
Like people just naturally want to be left alone to their own. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Oriented Podcast. My name's KC, and I'm joined by my brother.
I'm Carrie.
We have started a new podcast. This is our second episode, by the way, and we're having a blast talking about random stuff, mainly Asian American stuff because we're Asian American. And last week we talked about what we did as kids during Chinese New Year, because we're both like lion dancers. We performed during Chinese New Year, so that was like a big part of our youth and then
childhood.
Obviously, yeah, exactly. And then obviously the whole Monterey Park shooting happened last week. So and we were literally talking about it the morning of, and as we're getting new information coming in. So if you want to hear us talk about that, tune into last week's episode. This week I wanted to talk more about Asian stuff. We'll see how far we can go with the Asian stuff until we get tired of it. Because like sometimes I do get tired of it.
There's only so
much.
There's only so much you can talk about. But I guess sometimes we can talk about other things, but then we have our own like Asian American perspective. But then at the same time, it would be exclusively to just yours and my experience, not really, representing everybody.
No, we always speak for all Asians here, okay? Anything we say about Asians, we're speaking for everyone, and it's the law, okay?
Whatever we say, that's what all Asian Americans think.
This week, I wanted to talk about Asian representation in the media. It's a topic that is super important to me. Or you know what? Honestly, it was super, super, super important to me. As I get older, I kind of, not that I care less about it, but it's not at the forefront of my mind anymore as I get older. And when I was younger, it was definitely like, oh man, we look dumb in movies, especially Asian American men, dudes and Asian dudes look so dumb in the media, because we're either the kung fu artist guy, which I guess that's pretty badass. Like, I'm not complaining about that, but it gets tiresome because it also becomes its own meme, right?
Yeah, because what it is like everyone at school, will think, oh, you must know kung fu, which ironically we did do kung fu, but it's like
ironically. So it's like we can't really complain about it because we actually did it too.
And our last name is Chan, so it's like Jackie Chan or whatever. But I can't whoop somebody's ass like that, and no,
you can. You totally can.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyone out there you want to pick a fight with Carrie, by all means, he'll kick your ass. Just watch yourself.
but in itself, it is like a meme, and it's like everybody's stereotyping you to be that, character.
Yeah, the number of times people walk up to me and they go, "Wah!" with the crane stance. If you're listening, it's when they go on one leg and then they bring their two hands in like a beak position and it's like to the side. Yeah, I hate that so much. It used to bother me so much.
Which I don't think. I hope people aren't still doing that because that's so like early 2000s, 90s.
I'm sure there is. I mean, especially if you're like in a neighborhood that was less populated by Asian people. Like there's certain, like growing up like in Texas, for me, I felt like I wasn't surrounded by Asian people. Like we weren't surrounded by Asian culture, to be honest. Maybe because like Carrie, you're younger than me, right? So I feel like you had more Asian people with you, but during my time,
you did. Because
you think so?
Because like at our school, so I'm pretty sure everybody knows where you went to school, right? Or like you've released the information of where you went to school before, right?
Yeah, Plano.
All right. So
yeah,
on the east side of Plano, I know the school that we went to when you were there at your age, I think there were more Asian people that went to that school, middle school, Bowman. But when I went there, they had built up the Murphy side. And so a lot of the kids that did go to Bowman, they ended up getting rezoned to go to a different school.
And Murphy is like more in like
More Asian. It's
like
more
yeah,
Asians
okay.
there. It's like newer houses and stuff, and all the rich
Okay.
Asians like moved there and stuff like that.
So it basically took it sucked all the Asians out of the school
Bowman,
you
yeah.
went to
Out
and,
of
and
Bowman.
relocated them to Murphy.
Yeah, but we all joined back up at Williams. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's only 3 years of being left alone.
Well, but in your adolescent years, that's pretty formative of like the people you
That's
hang
true.
out with and stuff like that. So it does make a big difference in the grand scheme of
That's
things,
true.
I think. But
3 years is long enough to get you to be whitewashed.
yeah. But so I know in Plano, at least now, I don't know how it was back then, but it's roughly like 15-16% Asian, which is
Yeah, it's
nowhere
pretty high
it's nowhere compared to like say Monterey Park or something like that.
Yeah.
But in Texas, 16% Asian population is pretty high.
I mean, I think the nationwide number,
It's like
the
4% or something.
it's only 4%.
4 or
So
5.
if you're above 4% at your school, you know, you're in good company in terms of having a relatively big Asian population. But when I moved out to California and I spent time in Monterey Park and Alhambra and stuff, I'm like, dude, Monterey Park schools, like if you could flip through the yearbooks, it's literally like 80% Asian. No, I'm lying. Like maybe 60% Asian, you know, but like, or like I have a friend, he lives in Arcadia. I opened his book and his Arcadia High School was literally, I would say like 80% Asian. If you go to the section with the CHs in the yearbook with the last
Chan,
names,
Chung.
it's like 20 pages
Chow.
straight of just cha 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 cha.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty nuts. And I mean, for someone that's from Texas, I mean, that's mind blowing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've never been surrounded by that much Asian culture to the point where it almost feels like you're in Asia. Like living over here, like now currently, I'm like, sometimes I feel like I'm in Asia. I don't even feel like I'm in America, to be honest.
Yeah,
you
which
know?
is really interesting because like so they always call like California or like New York, all these like super major big cities, like they say they're very diverse, right? And it is very diverse. But it's like diverse in the sense of there's like pockets of like certain communities and stuff.
Yeah.
So then when you go to
the technical term is enclave.
Enclave, okay. So, but when you're actually
Yeah.
there, it's not really diverse. It's like all one race or one,
Yeah.
kind of ethnicity or group.
Yeah, so by nature that it's just segregation, like natural segregation of itself.
Yeah.
Like people just naturally want to be left alone to their own stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
but I would say where we grew up in Plano, that's actually to me was very, very
Yes.
diverse. Like
Yeah,
there's
I do feel
white
like-
people, Hispanics, blacks, Asians, Desi, like Indians, Pakistanis. We even had like the neighborhood next to us. There was like a lot of families that were like Kurdish, which you might not even know what who the Kurds are.
I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah,
Yes.
but like there was
What is
like
that?
I think they're an ethnicity that don't really have their own country. I think they kind of land in like the Iran, Iraq, Turkey area. I could be wrong,
Okay,
but like
okay.
they kind of live in different countries and have their own area, and there's like a lot of political stuff around them. But like I didn't even know who they were before, but I grew up around a lot of them. So like I feel like we really grew up around true diversity. It's like you
Yeah.
can go to school with every single race. Like we grew up with
I
every single
agree.
race. And I think
I
that's
agree.
true diversity right
Yes,
there.
because like with Tiff, like she grew up in a Mexican American bubble, like so for her, she thought it was normal to just be surrounded by Mexican people. She was like America's just comprised of Mexican Americans, and what we see on TV is like that's really weird. I don't
That's
know
like
what they're-
fantasy land
like,
or something.
like Full House. Like who are these people from? And not until she got older and she's like, oh, I'm in a pocket myself.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
same thing with Diana, like where she grew up. Well, she ended up going to like a performance arts school for high school, so that was more diverse for her. But like, like where she grew up and stuff, it was like predominantly all Hispanics, and like probably like zero Asians,
So growing up Asian, I guess even if you are in an area that is predominantly Asian, you're bound to leave that bubble. You're bound to be in a situation where you're not around a whole lot of Asians. And I'm sure you're bound to come across a situation where your Asian heritage becomes a laughing point at some point in your life, right? I think that's just the Asian American experience, is to feel that sort of pain, if you want to call it pain. And I think a lot of times that it stems from how Asians are represented in media, right? And I actually want to dissect that a little bit more too, because I actually, as I get older, I actually don't think it's 100% media. I think there's a lot of it that's just how we are as people too, and it's what they see day to day. And so, anyways, getting back to the media stuff, I've always felt a really strong desire and need to fix it, to be a part of, say, the entertainment industry. The whole reason why I moved out to LA was to be a part of something where I can try to, I guess, combat the negative stereotypes of Asian American representation in media. Some of the stereotypes are the kung fu master, right? And then there's like the nerd, right? There's the virgin, I guess. There's we're all always doctors, or we're always some guy that can't get a girl, or I'm like, we're always like that. We're never like, rarely are we ever someone that's romantically inclined. We're rarely someone that's athletically inclined. We're rarely, we're rarely anything that is considered, machismo in the best sense possible, right? Like there's certain like man qualities, and I guess I'm only speaking to Asian men, like in terms of representation. I think the Asian female side is like a whole different argument. I think they're the exotic types. Like they've been kind of like subjugated to like this weird,
they've been like fetishized.
Fetishized. There you go. Yeah, and so that's a whole nother problem. I guess I'm really just kind of focused more on the men's side, but I do think it's improving now. I feel like with like K-pop coming in, or like there's like. I don't know, like in the sports world, like there's a lot of baseball players that are Korean and Japanese and I don't know, like I do feel there's a huge shift now.
There's like definitely some couple comedians. Well, I really just know Ronnie Chung. He's like
he's great.
Yeah, he's one of the bigger Asian comedians. A couple actors here and there, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's true. I do think it's starting to be normalized that Asians can be normal people. Yeah. And not just these weird stereotypes that are either emasculated men or some sort of exotic kung fu master guy that knows all the secrets to life.
We're not caricatures.
And I'm like, I don't know the secrets to life. Getting back to the earlier point I was about to make, before I was like, I guess I was woke before woke was a thing. That's how I feel about it. I think by the time I was like in 5th grade or 6th grade, like there was an energy in me that really wanted to prove a point that Asians were not what we were made to be in the media. And I always thought, oh, the media is the problem. The media is painting us this way, and so therefore people are treating us this way. And so then, I get to my high school years, I decided I want to do film. I want to get into the core, the heart of it, which is to tell stories and to tell proper stories, proper Asian American stories that actually depict, what it feels like to be Asian American, right? And, move out to LA and join up with JK Films. And, like they were just doing exactly what I wanted to do, which was fighting against all the negative stereotypes with, by creating new stereotypes, by creating like we want to really push on the opposite end of the spectrum, make Asian men super machismo and have a certain, quality that you'll never see in mainstream media.
And I think that was the great thing about YouTube, because like in mainstream Hollywood and media, they didn't give that platform to Asian Americans, but I think YouTube really birthed that Asian American movement, like with JK. When I was younger, I was really into, I can't say his new name because I don't know how, but like Timothy De La Ghetto.
Chang Taransu.
Yes, I can't say that. But yeah, I used to be into his music when he was known as Traffic.
Yes,
him, D Pride. I used to listen to them a lot, and
D Pride. Yeah, all the rappers.
Yeah, they made me feel
Asian
cool
rappers,
because like
Dumbfounded.
Yeah, because when I was in middle school, like we were talking about earlier, I wasn't we didn't have too many Asians and in our middle school at that time because of the rezoning and stuff. But I was like really into basketball, so like I was really into like black culture and like hip hop and stuff. So like seeing those guys do their thing on YouTube was very empowering for me, you know. So they really like broke a barrier of something that didn't exist before.
Yeah, like it kind of like gave you a little confidence, right? Gave you a little strength, you know, day to day, and the kind of like understanding who you are and who you could be, you know, because like I think we humans are stupid, right? I think all humans are stupid. The best thing we can do is the best thing we do is to model ourselves after something or someone, right? And that's all we do. It's monkey see, monkey do. It's like, I wear this shirt because I saw some other dude wearing a shirt like this and I thought, hey, that looked pretty good. I'll buy this shirt and I'll wear it. I'll do my hair like this because I thought, hey, that dude over there with that hair looked fantastic. I'll do my hair like this too. And so when you're looking for things to emulate, when you're looking for ideals to kind of like fulfill yourself to become, like you're looking for something that, you know, you feel like you can fit into, you know, and, you know, there's certain things that you're like, oh, I don't think I fit into that. You just kind of feel it. And I think without having the representation in media, without having something to kind of copy, I guess, I think, you know, Asian youth can be kind of confusing, you know, because I think in our era, I feel like it was you either join with the white people or you join with the black people. You know, you're either the hip hop dude, you're the Asian dude with the cornrows, you know, and you play basketball. I know you didn't have cornrows, but like, you know, like you either hung out with the black crowd and you identify that way, or you were like the Asian emo guy with like that hung out with the white kids, the skaters, and you did that stuff. You know
so
what
that reminds me of? Remember back then? I remember it was like more your time, but that Asian Pride, that Got Rice song.
Yeah,
that's so nostalgic. I love that song. It's still cool to this day.
It's actually good. I liked it.
I liked it a lot.
I mean, I like the beat. I like the changes. Instrumental.
Tupac, yeah.
It's a good instrumental. Yeah, it's
but that was
one
like
of those instrumentals
that
that
was
makes
the
you
start
feel something.
of Asian Pride, and was it Tie My Shoe?
Tie My Shoe is the same. Yeah. They're like the godfathers of the Asian American.
Yeah, I've always wondered what happens
really.
to those guys. Like they must be like
I don't know
40 something now.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say, oh yeah, I don't feel that. I don't feel that drive anymore.
What do you feel like changed to make you not feel that drive anymore?
Getting older. I think getting older has a big part of it, and it's not so much the Asian American, or it's not so much the media representation that is the problem. Because like when I was younger, I always thought it was the media that was the problem. But as I get older, I'm like, wait, well, media is still the problem, but a lot of it's also like how we live our lives. Like representation doesn't just mean media. Representation means us living life too, and us being the examples of Asian representation in real life. You know, like if I meet someone and I talk to someone, say that's not Asian, I'm communicating to them Asian representation.
That's
right?
true, yeah. We are all Asian representation.
Yeah, so therefore, by just living life itself, by being the best versions of ourselves, if you want to see a more charismatic leading man in Asian media, why don't we start living our lives like that and stop waiting around for media to tell us that we can be leading men, you know, be cooler or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And I think people are doing that though, you know, and I think by having more people doing that, like how many buff Asians have you seen lately? You know, I mean, Asians are fucking buff now. I mean, I don't know where the fuck they came from, but there was a time when Asian guys were all scrawny, and then like fast forward 10 years later, I'm like, all Asian dudes are like buff and gigantic now. So yeah, like there's people are changing, and I think the dialogue is changing because the live life of Asians day to day now is creating that new representation.
And the people that you interact with in real life, you're gonna have a much bigger impact on them than somebody on TV would, you know?
Some stupid TV show, yeah exactly. And people know. I feel like people know, like, oh, that was a TV show, it was funny, whatever. But, you know, like all the Asian dudes I know in real life, they're not like that.
Like, stereotypes do exist for a reason, you know. To some degree, I think they're true. But they're stereotypes, you know. That doesn't mean that it applies to everything.
With that said, you know, it's like, is art imitating life or is life imitating art? Are we imitating the stuff we see on TV? Yes, but is TV also imitating what is actually happening in the world, you know? And that's also yes. And so, like, if you want to see the
sometimes
change,
there's an agenda.
there's the conspiracy brother. I know.
I don't think that's conspiracy. There's definitely, stuff that they want to push, and they try to manipulate culture as well.
Like news coverage over Asian American stuff, like the shooting, for example. I'm like last week I was saying, like, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, because in terms of the coverage, in terms of like how they cover it, how long they cover it, sometimes they just kind of sweep it aside.
How is it
like,
now? Honestly, I haven't really been keeping up with the news. Is it still...
Me either. I got busy this week, so I don't even know.
Same here. Yeah, I don't know either.
But I guess, I don't know, to hammer my point back, I was like, I don't know. I don't care as much, I guess, with Asian American representation as much as I used to. I mean, I still care for sure. But like,
it is a lot better it is a lot better now than it was before. So it's like, it's better now. It's good, and it's fine. I don't need to keep pushing as hard. But like, what really did
before,
upset me,
I was like radicalized before. Which
I understand.
That was the hill I chose to die on.
I understand it, because like what really upset me. Well, I mean, I didn't have my panties in a bunch, but what I thought was really stupid was that Dragon Ball Z movie, or Dragon Ball whatever movie, and Avatar.
Yeah, things like that do piss me off.
It's like they chose to cast white people to play very obvious Asian roles. And that kind of pissed me off. I was like, this...
Well, you know what? Dragon Ball Z, if playing devil's advocate, I think you could argue the opposite, because you're going to need someone to go Super Saiyan, and Super Saiyans look like white people, don't they? They turn Aryan on you.
You're right.
Gold hair.
But they have that kanji on the back of their the back of his outfit, and it's
the Chinese writing.
Yeah, it's like, it's obvious. Goku is, I know he's an alien, but he's obviously Asian. He's eating rice an Asian. He's Asian.
Yeah. True.
But they got CGI and stuff. They can always make an Asian guy look kind of white, I guess.
Yeah, they can. I mean, you ever seen the James Bond movie where it's a Pierce Brosnan James Bond movie where the bad guy was a Korean dude, and he was trying to get away with the crime, and he was trying to have plastic surgery to change his ethnicity into a white guy, but he was only halfway through his surgery in the movie when James Bond caught up to him or whatever, so he had to be on the run. So then the whole rest of the movie, he was just like this half Asian, half white looking...
That's funny. I have to watch that.
Mid-surgical procedure villain.
I was really young when those series of James Bond came out, so I've seen some of them, at least, like, was it Goldfinger? Gold whatever?
Oh, that's...
Or is that Austin Powers?
No. GoldenEye.
Goldfinger was Austin Powers. But yeah, I've seen a few of those. I just don't remember.
No, that's Goldmember. Goldfinger is 1960s James Bond.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the early
What was Austin
early
Powers
ones.
is called then? Because he made fun of...
Goldmember?
I don't know.
Isn't it Goldmember?
I think his was Goldfinger. Because it sounds the silliest.
Goldfinger. No, Goldfinger is 1964 James Bond.
Okay.
I think it's Goldmember.
I have it all wrong then.
Goldmember, yes. Goldmember is Austin Powers.
There you go. That's the one I remember the most, because that's the most recent. Gold, whatever.
Yeah. Do you think, was it hard for you to date when you were younger? Because we're both married, so it's not like we're dating now. But
I would say so, a little bit. I think mostly for me, I probably had my confidence wasn't that high, because I'm also really short. I'm like 5'3".
Yeah.
So it's also like my
Muggsy Bogues height, man.
Yeah,
one of the best NBA players ever.
My pool of girls that I could flirt with and try to go after was also much smaller too, because stereotypically girls don't like to date guys shorter than them. So yeah, that is kind of tough. I wouldn't, maybe it was more of an internal thing,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's like, it's just your own self-confidence and stuff. And,
but there's definitely a few girls out there that are totally like, and they'll like wear it on their sleeve, like, I don't like short guys, and I'm like, what constitutes short exactly?
Yeah. I see tweets sometimes are like, oh, I don't want to date anyone less than 6 feet or something. I'm like, dang,
that you just like narrowed it down to like a very small percentage of men. Like I think the average height is 5'9", right?
Yeah.
So the average dude is too short for these girls.
But I mean,
okay, you're just,
if you're a good looking girl,
for a basketball player.
I guess if you're a good looking girl, it's probably not an issue.
Probably. I mean, hey, if you can pick, why not? You know, if you're in the position to be choosy and picky, and you can get away with it, more power to you.
Yeah.
More power to you. I would love to be in those positions in all aspects of my life, because I just think that would be fantastic.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, it was, yeah, I would say it's hard, but you know, I don't know. It's not that hard at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah, I think for me, yeah, you know what? We've never talked about dating, you and I.
Yeah.
Like when like, so me and Carrie, we grew up together. We're really close. Not in age, we're 5 years apart. But
Yeah.
we're really close growing up in terms of like just hanging out with each other. Like as an older brother, I always made sure he was like included in everything that I did as much as I could, I guess. And when I left for college, that's kind of like when we kind of stopped keeping up with each other as much.
I mean,
I think we tried a little bit here and there.
You moved to Orlando, and
yeah, I moved to Orlando for film school.
And you're really bad
then
at texting. You're very bad.
I suck at communicating. Yeah,
You're better
I think
now.
I've gotten,
You're better now.
I'm way
Probably
better now.
All thanks to Tiff.
Yeah. I think my wife has radically changed who I am for the better as well. I think, you know, before I was like this, like introverted, like artist type of personality that needed to feel like there's a chip on my shoulder. And if the chip on my shoulder was gone, then the art would be gone, and the drive for everything. Like, so bringing it back to the whole Asian American thing that I was talking about, I was like, I needed that chip on my shoulder to kind of push me forward in this artistic endeavor that I was in. And it's like this really, like,
it's the artist struggle.
The artist struggle, yeah. But it's like this, like, you kind of put yourself in the position to be kind of miserable, you know? And I'm like, and as you get older, you kind of like look at that and you're like, that's just like some teenage angst, you know? And you're like, at some point you got to grow past that, you know? At some point you got to go, yeah, sure, you're working through some shit when you're younger, but dude, what is the ultimate goal in life? What, happiness? Like, what are you after, you know? And like, get your shit together, you know? Like, is this really, you know, you're gonna be miserable for the rest of your life because like there's no equality in what you see in Asian representation? That's really what, you know, you're gonna make your life all about.
That's the hill you're gonna die on.
Yeah, it was before. Now that I get older, I'm like, not really. I got a baby now, and you know, got a house, you know. I'm like, I got some just regular people shit to worry about. And you know what? I love that regular people shit, you know, like I love it so much, you know, I love my son so much. I'm like, he's the hill I'm going to choose to die on. Like, I am going to protect and nurture this baby the best as I can. I don't have room to be like Asian this, Asian that anymore, you know, but I'm rooting from the sidelines now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I guess that's kind of how I feel about that. But yeah, anyways, dating. You and I both ended up dating Latinas.
Yes,
you and I both ended up marrying Mexican women.
We did.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Are you attracted to Hispanic women?
I will say yes. I will admit it. Yeah, I am.
Me too. Yeah. Me too.
Especially being in Texas, and then you know you're from Texas, and then also California. There's just so many Hispanic people. It's like half the population, and I've met I've met a lot of people who are like a Asian Hispanic duo too. It's pretty common.
Have you noticed that? Yeah, have you noticed that? Right? Like, it's. I feel like there's in the last, like, I don't know, 10 years maybe, because I've been seeing it for a while now too. I feel like the Asian, specifically this combination too, Asian guy, Latin female, that combination is really prevalent now.
Yeah, it is. And I've seen it the other way around as well, too.
I've seen it the other way around, yeah. I've definitely seen it the other way around. But I think it sticks out to me more the way, like, that you and I are in terms of, like, the Asian guy thing. Because, like, you know, I guess I'll forever carry this thing with me. You know, I guess the whole Asian guy not being cool enough or not being sexy enough or whatever, right?
It is kind of cool because I remember growing up, like, it's not a blanket statement, but I just remember there was like a lot of Asian girls that didn't want to date Asian guys, you know?
Yeah.
I saw that a lot.
They wanted the white dick.
Yeah.
Because they thought Asian guys were like, ugh, whatever, you know?
Yeah, and that went to our whole point with the stuff we were talking about earlier, really.
Yeah, it feeds into the narrative. Do you think that drove you to not date Asian girls?
I don't know.
I was like, oh, you gonna not date me? Oh, I'm not gonna date you either.
It could have been like subconsciously. It's not something. Yeah, I didn't have that voice in my head like that. No, not at all. Yeah. But maybe subconsciously. I don't know.
Yeah, like some like Asian red pill thing, right? It's like, oh, you don't like me? Oh, well, actually, I imagine the red pill guy to be more like, oh, you're not gonna date me? Okay, yeah. Well, I'm not gonna date you.
That voice is more like it. Yeah. But I don't know. It's been a long time because my other relationship, before my wife now was also a Latina, and it's just been so long. Like I haven't even thought about how I thought about relationships and stuff like that.
Yeah, me neither.
When you're in relationships for so long, like in single relationship, like you just kind of don't think about that stuff.
But yeah, I always thought it was, interesting that you and I both married Mexicans, and then our dad opened and operates a Latin club.
Yeah.
Or a Latin establishment for nightlife.
Yeah. So our dad, he's very, well, I guess not so much anymore. He is getting a little older, but he was really into salsa dancing. And he told me it was because, remember that cruise ship that we went to back in 2002, 2003? Apparently, I don't know. I was too young to really know anything, but apparently our dad, he took a salsa class on the cruise ship. And that's what got him interested in dancing salsa as a hobby. And so he was always a part of this like dance studio in Dallas. And, he went to like performed at shows, things like that. Made friends there, and that led him to wanting to open up an establishment with salsa dancing and stuff like that. So that's where he got his idea for Salsera, Cafe Salsera, and that's where we are now. But the funny thing is that we don't play that much salsa there, because we're in Deep Ellum, which is like a very like bar hopping neighborhood of Dallas. If you're in Dallas, you know what Deep Ellum is. This is where everybody goes to get shit faced and party, and it's very fun, very eclectic. But it's also mostly younger people there, and younger people don't typically
they don't fuck with the salsa.
Yeah, no, it's a very skilled dance. So you got to take a few lessons to really know how to dance to it, and most people just try to booty bump. Grind or whatever, twerk, all that kind of stuff.
You saying twerking is not a skilled dance?
Well,
I can't twerk. I'm like, give me some lessons on how to twerk.
Well, I don't want to twerk, but yeah. Okay. You can argue twerking is a skilled dance.
I know what you mean. Though. Like there's steps to salsa, and like it's like you got to memorize. You got to know the steps. Actually memorize it. Yeah, exactly. But create the muscle memory for those steps.
Mm-hmm. And so most younger people, they like reggaeton music. So predominantly like Bad Bunny. That's the kind of music we play there mostly. We play a little bit of salsa.
Low key, I'm a huge Bad Bunny fan.
Really?
Like
I've really been listening to this new artist from Puerto Rico. Her name is Young Miko, and I think she's gonna be like the new hot thing.
The next big thing?
I think so in the next
Young
few years.
Miko?
Miko.
Niko?
Miko. M as in Molly. Like
a Japanese name.
Yeah, it sounds Japanese.
Appropriation.
I think she predominantly raps, but she knows a good amount of English, so she'll like throw in some like line, like a few lines in there in English or whatever.
Yeah.
So I feel like she would translate very well in the American English. Market.
Yeah. I think most Puerto Ricans speak.
I don't know, because I never hear Bad Bunny speak English.
I think he can though.
Maybe.
I think he just doesn't use it.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Because when I went to Puerto Rico, a couple years ago before pandemic. Everyone spoke Spanish. I mean, not Spanish. Everyone did speak Spanish, but everyone spoke English, and like good English too. It's like the kind of English you would hear. I mean, honestly, if you go to Puerto Rico and you just close your eyes, it would just sound like you're in Miami.
That's true.
Like there's
Miami,
a lot of Spanish, lots of Spanish.
In
and
Miami,
there's whole neighborhoods where they only speak Spanish,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, I've heard that.
But
about
you know
Miami.
English though, and it's not weird to hear English. And I think in Puerto Rico, to me, that my experience in Puerto Rico was like that. It wasn't weird to hear English, and most everyone, and I mean they're also what U.S. is it U.S. territory?
U.S. territory,
yeah,
U.S. territory. So they can come back and forth like it's any domestic flight. But yeah, so it is pretty ironic that we own like a Latin establishment, and actually that reminds me, I need to text back our DJ. He just texted me.
He's like, Carrie, what song should I play next?
He's saying
Bad
that
Bunny
our
or Young Miko.
Well, I don't hear her here, but I just heard her on a Spotify playlist once. And I was like, I like this song, and then I just checked her out, and she raps mostly, but I think she'll be the next big thing.
You know what? Latin American artist I really like right now is Tiff discovered her on her playlist or whatever. Maye is her name, Maye, I believe, and. Not party music. It's not like you're not going to be twerking to her music. Her music's more like sensual, like chill, loungy type stuff. A little bit of funk to it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like her stuff. Her stuff's real nice.
I'll check it out. You know what? Another nice thought I've had, and I've never talked about it with anybody. I might have told Diana, but I think it's so weird that Mexican people don't do reggaeton. They love listening to it. Like at our place, like it is mostly Mexicans there, but all they listen to, well, not all they listen to, but the most popular thing for them is still reggaeton, which is mostly Puerto Ricans. It's pretty much it's Puerto Rican music.
The reggaeton sound does not come out of Mexico. Like there's no copycat artist from
you
Mexico
would think so.
that does
like,
reggaeton.
There's no like hip hop, was like black culture music, and then you got like Eminem, rapping and like becoming like one of the biggest hip hop artists, but there's no Mexican artist.
Big appropriation artist.
Yeah, but I've never. There's no like Mexican artist that took the sounds of reggaeton, reggaeton, and like owned it. You know what I mean? And I just think that's so weird. I feel like
I think it is weird. I tried looking up. I have a son now. He's half Mexican, and I've always wanted to learn Spanish too, because with Tiff, I'm like, man, it's a shame. Like we've been together for 10 years and I haven't learned a lick of Spanish. I still know the shit I learned in high school, and like they only walked away knowing the word zapatos. And that's about it. I'm like, God damn, I know how to say shoes.
That's the one thing you know.
Yeah, that's it. I know a lot more now, but like it's just literally the kind of stuff you say in short passing at home, but if I can't have a conversation.
Oh yeah, me neither. I just know like tidbits here and there just to try to communicate,
And so I thought, if I listen to more Spanish music, I can maybe somehow learn more Spanish, right? That's the logic there. And I'm trying to find songs that I like listening to, and I'm like, okay, well let's start in Mexico. Let's see what Mexico has to offer. And like by and large, it's still very like there's a lot of folky music.
So they
a lot of folk,
cumbia,
guitar,
cumbia, like this
mariachi,
Mexican rock,
banda.
Yeah, I do not like banda.
Yeah, and so there's not a whole lot of like urban sounds, I guess like nothing like DJ.
Even like they're like norteños, norteños or whatever. It's like gangster music, but it's like.
But it's guitar.
Yeah.
Acoustic guitar.
It's like country.
I
don't know. It's like its own
There's
thing.
this norteño artist I really like too. It's a little girl who sings with her brothers, and like she's talking like she usually sings from the perspective of a man. Like it's weird. Like she's a little girl, but she sings from the perspective of a man, cool, and she sings about heartbreak and stuff like that, and it's phenomenal. I can't think of her name right now, but I don't know. Never mind. I gotta stop talking about naming artists and stuff that I can't name. It goes nowhere.
Yeah. If we're butchering anything about Hispanic music or anything, excuse us, because we don't really know that much.
We are newly minted enthusiasts of Hispanic music.
Yeah, exactly.
Have some patience with us.
Yeah.
We think your culture is fantastic. Just lots of bright sounds and
Very
fun
festive.
language.
Very festive. It's very opposite of our culture.
Yeah, that's true. That's one thing about being with Tiff that I have found, like the intersectionality of our relationship has been that. Like I'm such a boring person compared to her, where she's just a very vibrant person, and like she wears her emotions on her sleeve. She'll say it like it is, and like she just like likes adventures. She likes to go out and do stuff, and she wants to dance around the house. And it's like, oh, we gotta play music, and I'm like, no, I think we just need some quietness right now. Let me just focus on something, And I'm like the opposite of that. I'm just like very internal.
Kind of the same thing on my end too.
Yeah.
Much more festive than we are. They like to dance and listen to loud music, and I like that too sometimes. But yeah, it's very different, and definitely with our like interracial relationship.
Yes.
It comes up a lot. Like we have our little like clashes and stuff, and a lot of it has to do with one thing, like her being a woman, us being male. There's already some differences there in just
women. No, I'm just playing.
and how we think and process things. It is different, and then and on top of that, our culture,
the culture.
Like Asian culture is very like much more reserved, much more like kind of conservative, I would say. We're just more quiet people overall, and I will say Vietnamese people they like to party. From my experiences,
South Asians, like Vietnamese, Laos,
Cambodians,
Filipino, Cambodians,
Filipinos.
They get a little, they're more rowdier than their northern neighbors, the Chinese and the Koreans and the Japanese. I don't know. Koreans can drink. I guess that the Korean culture is that they drink a lot.
Yeah.
And when they do drink, they can get pretty rowdy.
That's true. I mean, I would still say all Asian cultures, they have the people that are really rowdy. Like when we went to our cousin's wedding, that was something I've never seen before coming from
Hong Kong
people.
Yeah.
But just like, I guess stereotypically speaking, we are more conservative, reserved, not as outgoing overall, which all ties back to those stereotypes we were talking about.
But I tell you what, the good thing is about like at least you and me, like being in interracial relationships. I do think that by being in a relationship with a Latina, like the polar opposite of a, Chinese culture person, I think that it balances each other out.
Yes. Yeah.
One of the things that I feel like I walk away with in terms of my experience with interracial relationships is that you get to learn not just the culture thing, like, it's one thing to learn about Mexican culture, and like trying to embrace that as my own, which I think I have, more or less embraced a lot of it in a sense of like having it feel like home to me. Like when I go to like a Mexican restaurant, or I'm with Tiff's family, and like just hearing the Spanish and all that's like the energy that it exudes, I do find it very comforting now. Like because before, I think when I first started dating, it was like so foreign and so like, I don't know how to respond in some of these situations, or like you're just kind of like on edge a little bit, right? Because it's so different. Now I'm like, oh yeah, that's just it's just how I don't know. I just feel way more at home. I wish I could speak Spanish.
Yeah,
but,
I guess
aside from not speaking Spanish, like just the mannerisms and like I can kind of like feel and vibe it out and like, but all right, cool. This is chill for me.
Yeah, it's just very typical to hear Spanish for me. Like I don't know Spanish like that either, but yeah, it doesn't feel weird being around a bunch of Spanish.
Intersectionality, I feel like gets a bad rep in the media, because a lot of times it's like how it doesn't work. It's like, racial tensions and things like that. I'm like, you gotta
tell me what intersectionality is, because I've heard that word, but definition wise, I don't really know what that means.
I don't even know either. Maybe I'm using it wrong.
All right. So intersectionality, for everyone that doesn't know, including us, the interconnected nature of social categorizations such as race, class, and gender as they apply to a given individual or group, regarded as creating overlapping and interdependent systems of discrimination or disadvantage.
Even the definition is confusing.
It just sounds like America to me.
Yeah. Basically, we live in intersectionality.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the Korean celebrities getting like hate for posting Chinese New Year? But instead of saying the word Chinese New Year, they said Happy Lunar New Year.
Mm-mm.
And then, like, I guess it was a large enough population of Chinese users on whatever social medias, but they started like hitting back at the Korean celebrities saying like, you're appropriating Chinese New Year. You should call it by what it is. It is in fact a Chinese cultural heritage holiday. So call it Chinese New Year. Why are you calling it Lunar New Year? That is disrespectful to Chinese people. And it became a bit large enough thing where like some Korean celebrities had to like apologize for using Lunar New Year to the Chinese fan base. And then while other Korean celebrities were getting flack from Korean fans because they went ahead and said Happy Chinese New Year.
It was like, damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. I guess that actually is intersectionality. That is the internet itself is intersectionality in the sense that now you have like different cultures kind of overlapping in this shared space of the internet now. So weird. It reminds me of the whole Korean pear thing. You ever come across like a box of pears at a supermarket?
They say Korean pears on the description or the name.
Yeah, they say Korean pears, but if you look up on the internet, there's more general terms for it, like they call it the apple pear, or if you want to be more inclusive, they call it the Asian pear. And the same pear you can call it Korean pear, Chinese pear, Japanese pear.
So they exist.
It's hilarious.
They exist across all of
It
Asia,
exists
basically.
across all of Asia, yeah. And it's I guess if you want to put a culture behind it, then Asian pear I think might be the most applicable here.
Yeah, because it's more broad.
But if you want to
general.
leave the culture thing out, then I think people call it apple pears because it looks like an apple. It looks like a gigantic golden apple, but it's in fact a pear.
Okay, I know which ones you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just find like that reminded me the whole Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year thing where like ethnicities are being upset with each other. I'm like, there's the Korean pear. Like no one complains about the pear. You know, like in my mind when I see it, I think about like why you have to call it the Korean pear. I guess it's from Korea. Sure, I get it, you know. But then, you know, when it comes to the Chinese New Year thing, Lunar New Year thing, people are like, people are so touchy about certain topics. But if you take the philosophical approach, it's like, this is applied in multiple areas of life, and yet no one really makes a big fuss about it, you know? I think it's just weird.
Yeah, I can't say I have much of an opinion on that. It doesn't matter to me. Like, none of it offends me. Yeah? If you want to call it Lunar New Year, whatever. Chinese New Year, whatever.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat.
Ultimately, if you look at the history of Lunar New Year, it's going to refer back to the Chinese, right?
Well, speaking of Asian on Asian hate, the latest shootings, we can talk about that because we talked about it from last time. There's a second shooting, and when I first heard about it, I thought, what the fuck? Is this a copycat? Is this a copycat of the Monterey Park shooting? Because older Asian man, gun, multiple victims, and mainly Asian targets. Other Asian people died.
That's wild.
And also, he shot up 2 different locations.
Oh, he
went
did?
to a mushroom farm.
He worked there,
Shot
didn't
up a
he,
few
right?
people. Yeah,
That's
he
what
went
I
to
heard.
his work,
Okay.
the mushroom farm. He shot up the mushroom farm. Then he went to another place. It's like the loading dock of a trucking or like a truck thing. I don't know.
Was it related to the mushroom
warehouse.
farm? I'm guessing.
I'm guessing it's related. And he shot that place up too.
Okay, so how many dead from all
And-
that?
Crap, 7? I don't
Okay.
remember.
Yeah, I think I saw.
I'm not the
like
news,
that.
but I think it's like 7 or something. It's a little less than 11, which is the number from Monterey Park.
7-Eleven, crazy.
But 7-Eleven. Yeah, I don't know. Then my first response to that, without like hearing anything else, I was like, "There's a conspiracy here. This is like an identical crime. Who's like sabotaging the brains of older Asian men, telling them
That's
to go
the
take
weird
guns
part.
and shooting
is
up
that-
places? You know,
yeah,
that's my initial
They're
thought.
both Asian, and they're both like retirement age. That's just like the weirdest thing, and all within like a week.
It's just such a weird coincidence that it's so identical and so close to each other in terms of timing. It's just a few days.
Yeah, I don't really know. It is super weird. But obviously, trying to push more, gun bans and banning guns and things like that, more regulation, more gun control. It's the only thing I can think of. Like, I don't want to undermine any of the victims or anything like that, but it's just so weird that these two identical crimes happen so close together within a very.
I guess we can't really call it identical. Like they're not like identical, but like there's a high amount of similarities between the two of them that just makes it feel really weird.
I don't know. I mean, coincidences do happen, but it's just very odd to me. And so now, like I think the some lawmaker in California, they're proposing, or was it Dianne Feinstein? I don't know who she is, but she's a very famous politician. But she's proposing a new bill to ban assault pistols, which to me is very funny. So I am like a 2A advocate. I do have some guns. I do believe that we should have the right to, arm ourselves, protect ourselves. And they're trying to ban assault pistols, which makes no sense because a lot of people, it's like the same thing with the assault rifle. Assault rifle doesn't really mean anything, because as far as guns are concerned, there's automatic guns or like automatic rifle and then semi-auto, same thing with pistols. There is automatic pistols and there's semi-auto pistols. So automatic is when, I'm not like a gun expert. I do like them, but like I can't answer everything about it. I like it on the surface level mainly, but on an automatic weapon, if you were to pull the trigger and hold it down, it would keep firing until the magazine's out of ammo. With the semi-auto, you have to pull it each time to fire. And so automatic guns are already illegal and banned. Like you're not allowed to own one unless if it's like you have one that was built or manufactured before the ban happened. So like it's kind of grandfathered in. You can own that, but those are very expensive if you were to buy one of those. Like, I don't know how much, but you had to be very wealthy to afford one that was built or manufactured before the ban. And so automatic weapons are already illegal. Rifles, pistols, whatever, you name it. You can't have a new one like that. You can modify your gun to be automatic, but that if you get caught with that, it's illegal. You're going to get a felony. You're going to do some time in prison, whatever. So don't do that. And so the fact that they're trying to ban assault pistols doesn't make any sense. Ultimately, they're just trying to ban pistols. You can talk about like the size of a magazine, like how many bullets a magazine can hold. And I think California is already very strict on that. And so it's just weird. They're just making up these terms, trying to instill fear.
So basically, are you saying that they're going to try and make all guns illegal?
I mean, ultimately,
in California by way of all this?
Yeah, I don't. Dianne Feinstein, I don't know if she's a federal politician or a Californian. I don't know. I just saw the headline. I heard her name before though, but ultimately they are moving towards that. In the grand scheme of things, they can't do it overnight. It's going to happen incident after incident. They're going to, keep moving the goalposts towards banning everything completely. But yeah, so trying to ban assault pistols makes no sense because automatic pistols already illegal, and then all you have left is semi-auto. So assault pistol really just means pistols, I'm guessing. Like they just threw a word in front of a pistol. And so, to me, they're just moving towards banning all guns, and which, if you really want to break it down and really try to protect Asians, I know in this case, it was an Asian on Asian thing, but if you really want to protect Asians and all people, I think we should exercise our right to, be law-abiding citizens in gun ownership. I got into guns because of an older Asian guy. There's this pho place that opened up, around here, and the guy who opened it, he was He's from Houston. Him and his family, like, large family business. They own several restaurants in Houston, but they were trying to open one in Dallas, just trying to expand. They're no longer there. I hadn't really spoken to that guy in a while. Like, last time I saw him at the restaurant was the last time I saw him, but he was the one that actually got me into firearms. He was like a competition shooter. Like, he would go to competitions and
That's cool.
like he was really into guns. And he
I feel like people think, oh, you're into guns because you're advocating violence or whatever, right? Like I feel like that there's a assumption, right? That if you're into guns, you're advocating for violence, and I feel like that's a bit of a stretch, to say that. I feel like 'cause I'm not a gun owner myself. I'm not really into guns at all. I have no interest in buying a gun, but I could advocate for gun owners in a sense. I can understand why you could be interested in guns in a sense of like you're trying to develop a skill.
Yeah,
it's like if you took up archery, is there a difference between taking up archery and learning how to fire upon a target with the bow and arrow versus with a gun?
Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you're trying to destroy whatever you're shooting at. So, but I don't look at it as like an assault weapon. For me, I think of it as a protection weapon. It's like I have guns because if there is an intruder in my house, I want to make sure that I have the option to protect myself. If someone broke into my house, I don't want to shoot anybody. God forbid. Like, that's the worst situation, is to actually shoot somebody. But if it was between me or him, or him and my wife or family, like, I want to choose him.
Easy.
Yeah,
easy decision.
And so anyways, going back to that Asian guy, that the restaurant owner, he also owns, or him and his family, they also own like a jewelry store in Houston, and they've been robbed before, and so having a gun at a business, it really protects you. It really thwarts the threat. Ultimately, nobody wants to shoot anybody. Like, I bet it's a very traumatic experience.
Yeah, fuck that.
You got to deal with police reports. They're going to confiscate your gun. You're going to have to go through court. And it is terrible, and nobody wants to go through all that. But if it's a life or death situation, I prefer to choose life for myself that I'm protecting. I'm not trying to harm anybody because I want to harm them. And like, he told me about this story where he had his aunt was coming home from like chemotherapy or something. They pulled up in the alleyway into their garage, and they had cameras all over their house. And when she got out, there was this black guy or whatever, and he just like snuck around and just sucker punched her and robbed her at her own house. So there are real threats out there. And, as, with all the Asian hate and stuff that was happening, I mean, if we really wanted to minimize that situation, we need to, have the tools and resources to protect ourselves. Like, like back when the Rodney King riots, like, there's the big meme of the rooftop Koreans. It's just silly to, and yeah, it would be great if we just lived in a society with no guns. But I mean, it's kind of too late. Like, Pandora's box is open. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. We have more guns than people in the U.S., and that's the reality of it. Yeah. And that's not going to change. It sucks. But, ultimately, it's I find it hypocritical for politicians to try to ban guns, because guess who's protecting them? Armed security, so
with guns, you don't say.
Exactly. And so they're on this high horse where they're like, oh, well, I have my protection. I have my armed security around me. But you little normies, you little peasants down there, you guys can't have guns because you guys aren't responsible enough for them. So these politicians, they're just, I don't know. There's something
They're
else.
not speaking from a perspective that is relatable to us. They're speaking from their high horse perspective.
Yeah,
and they're like,
exactly.
As long as I'm good, as long as me and my family are safe, fuck the rest of y'all. I don't know.
Exactly,
but they put on that face. They put on the smiley face and go, "We care about you. We need to get rid of all guns. It is a dangerous society.
And like, I mean, I guess
menacing.
in these cities where most of the Asian hate crimes are happening, unfortunately, they do have very strict gun laws. So, the Asian people walking around, they are law-abiding citizens, so they're not going to be carrying a gun around them and getting in trouble. But these criminals, these laws don't stop criminals. Being a gun owner, it's legal to have a gun, but once you do shoot somebody, that becomes illegal, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's just crazy to think that like a silly little law to ban a gun or whatever, carrying your gun is going to stop a criminal from committing crimes. You know, so these laws, what they're really doing is they're just harming law-abiding citizens that
I agree.
would carry a gun if they're allowed to protect themselves. But now you're making it illegal for them. They are going to listen and they're not going to carry them. But guess who won't listen? It's going to be the criminals, you know, so
bad guys.
I mean, that's all I really have to say about that. But, you know, like as far as like, you know, mass shootings and stuff, they're terrible. Like, I don't want them to happen. And I think that's a different conversation to have, you know?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people that kind of lump that what you're saying about gun rights and then these mass shootings. I feel like they kind of lump it together into one big thing to solve. And I'm like, if you really break it down, it's like it's two separate.
And here's another thing. Like, when's the last? You know what? I never looked this up on the internet, but like, when's the last time you heard about a mass shooting happening at like, say, a gun show?
Yeah, like the place where you have the most guns doesn't really happen.
Yeah, they're going to choose places.
In fact, mm-hmm. a lot of guns actually, a lot of shootings. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I'll be speaking out of my ass.
Yeah, but
I want to say most gun violence happens in
like gun-free zones,
bigger cities, and where they don't do guns. Yeah, whereas areas where they
or like schools,
have
you
guns
know, schools they are a gun-free zone, so there are no guns there. But it's easy for the gunmen to just go in because they know.
Well, yeah, because it's a gun-free zone. Yeah,
they
like,
know.
I'm gonna pick the place where they can't defend themselves.
Yeah,
they're not gonna go to a gun expo.
Yeah.
And try to shoot up a gun expo because everyone else is there.
Yeah, it's like you pointing a finger. You point one finger, you're gonna have multiple fingers pointing back at you. That's what it's gonna be like at a gun show. And like in the situation in Uvalde that happened last year, I think. Yeah, like I don't know what was up with the police, but they took like an hour to like stop this gunman, you know? So it's like even then the police weren't very effective in that situation. And I don't have an answer for what would solve it all. And like, do I think teachers should be able to carry guns? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. You know, but I just think there just should be there should just be a different conversation around it aside from just like trying to ban all guns is all I'm saying. You know, I think other like gun tubers might have better answers to, you know, answer these questions. I don't. But that's just you know what I think about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about arming more people would be a solution either.
They have to be trained. So I will say, if you do decide to get a gun, you should know how to use it. You should be trained. You should understand the consequences of using that weapon or that tool. You know, I'm not just advocating for anybody to get a gun. Like, if you get one, please learn as much as you can about it and get some training. Know how to use it. Know when to use it. Because in the situation, when your adrenaline's running, you're not going to think the same as when you're just calmly shooting at a target inside of a gun range. It's totally different. Yeah. And so, yeah, you know, it's a very big gray area. And I just don't think it's not a black and white situation for sure.
Like, this is the part where I kind of lean more towards anti-gun. Mm-hmm. When I'm pissed mad, you know, like when I'm just like, I'm fucking pissed. I'm seeing red, you know, and I'm like, no one's going to calm me down.
Yeah.
I've been in situations where like, you can't fucking calm me down right now. I will fucking break you, you know, and I will die trying, you know, like there's like that blind rage moments.
No, I totally get it.
I can't even contain myself sometimes when I get into those moments and I don't even have a weapon, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm armed with my fucking words and my words will cut, you know, my words will do all the damage.
Absolutely.
And so to then say, allow normal people to have guns they're not insane, you know, like they're mentally like okay in terms of like taking all the mental health checks or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But then you have the situations where you're just blind mad. You're just blind rage is taking over. And if you know how to use a gun or, you know, like whatever, you know, it's a hard debate.
Yeah, but you know,
it's a hard debate. I'm like, I don't want to be around that person when if they know how to use a gun and they're near their gun and they're fucking pissed, you know, like, and I'm at the opposite end of their anger. Like they're directing their anger towards me. I'm like, well, peace out, man. I'll talk to you when you calm down.
Yeah.
You know?
But I mean, you can use anything as a weapon, you know, like I know in like London, they got like stabbings happening all the time, you know?
Oh yeah. They rent a van. They just mow people over
exactly.
with the van.
So, I mean,
yeah, no, I know.
Yeah. So it's human nature.
It's gray area.
Yeah. It's the evil part of human nature. I will say that like the biggest gun advocates, you know, in the gun community, those are like the most calm people with guns. So it's like the people who like kind of have a gun but aren't really into it. Like I feel like it's those people that will typically
and they barely know how to use it. They've only gone to the shooting range like once or twice. Like I got it.
Yeah, I would say I feel like
I'll go play Call of Duty.
I feel like those are the people most likely to mishandle a gun. You know, I'm not super huge in the gun community, but I've been to a few events, and I will say those people are like the calmest people. You know, very friendly, and I think they understand the consequences. You know, if something were to happen. Tough topic.
It's a tough topic.
And it's probably never gonna have a good solution, I would say. Yeah. But as far as me and my house, I will do what I can to protect me and my family. That's all I will say.
Yeah. That's good. I like to hear that. I completely agree with you in terms of like needing to protect your family. Like I may not agree with you on everything about guns, but I'm right there with you in terms of protecting
I will say
the family.
The movie or the TV shows, I would say, that really made me think that way is watching The Purge. When I was watching The Purge, I'm like...
That makes you want to have all sorts of shit.
Like
I want steel-plated windows that like roll up, and like, you know, like bolt down the door and everything.
If I had all the money in the world, I would totally do that to my house. I'll have like an underground bunker, like just...
fireproof home. You can't set my house on fire.
Exactly.
You can't gas me out. You can't shoot down. You can't... You know, like you can't do nothing to me.
Yeah,
I get it. But yeah, I when you said like you're gonna protect your family, like I can relate to that too. You can debate all sorts of different types of scenarios, you know, and different scenarios will make me lean one way or another over the other, right? But when it comes down to the concept of protection and the concept of like, well, what am I really here doing? I want to make sure my family's okay. I agree with you. You know, like little Luca, like, you know, he turned 1, by the way.
Yeah. How was his birthday party?
Or he didn't turn 1 actually.
Oh yeah, he's 2 days. Yeah.
2 days shy of being 1, but we just had his birthday party, and
how was that?
That was fun. It was like so.
Did you guys like rent out a place for that?
No, we rented canopies and like drapes and stuff, and we set up like a whole thing in our like community area.
Oh, okay.
And
like at the little like park area?
The park area, yeah.
Okay.
And so then we hired a taco catering, which was really good, by the way. It was a shot in the dark because I was like, I'd never hired a caterer before. So I didn't know like what was good. I thought, oh, maybe I should find catering from a restaurant or whatever. But then their prices are a little more expensive than just getting a guy that just does catering. I was like, oh, it's actually more cost effective just getting a guy that does catering. And
makes sense.
But I didn't never try his food. But I ended up finding a guy that was just like his tacos were phenomenal. We got some ceviche as well, and Tiff made a smash cake for Luca.
Is that
which is
the
like,
cake where they get to destroy?
Yeah, like the first time I ever seen a smash cake was your smash cake. I was like 5 and you're like 1, or I was turning 6 and you're 1.
Yeah, I remember the video that Mom and Dad had, and I always remember them telling me that my poop was blue the next day.
Yes, it was. I remember seeing it. I was like, what the fuck?
That's funny.
I remember just staring at your poop for the longest time.
You just couldn't fathom.
I thought it was so weird. Yeah, I was like, that's blue poop. Ironically, what's funny is Luca's birthday cake was also blue.
That's funny.
But we went the natural route. So Tiff wanted to have a non-sweetened cake, right? And homemade, so nothing like no preservatives or any weird
chemical crap. Did she use a butterfly pea for the blue color?
Yep. So
funny.
it's all organic. So I haven't changed his diapers since. Tiff's been changing diapers. I don't think his poop is blue though. I don't think butterfly pea powder is gonna make your poop blue.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. It was really fun. Had a lot of friends come over. A lot of people I haven't seen in a long time, and yeah, no, it was good times. Good times.
That's cool.
Totally missed out.
Did you vlog it?
Totally missed out. I did not vlog it. I actually wanted to.
I hope you got some footage for yourself at least.
We got footage. We got like B-roll, but like I wasn't holding up the camera. I'm like, oh yeah, Lucas, birthday. It was more like, like I wanted to get some shots for memory's sake, and that was it. And I don't know, we're kind of slowing down on the vlogging thing.
I mean, I bet it's exhausting.
It's exhausting. I think we're also getting older too, to the point where like it's no longer something that we want to do. It's kind of become the thing that we have to do, I guess. And so we're trying to like figure out like, well, if we don't want to do it, we have to kind of just figure something else out to do, So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we'll probably keep it alive in the sense of like we'll vlog here and there, but we're slowing down production in a sense. Like I don't know. Just don't feel like sharing our life. It's another thing. So when you're young, in your early 20s, you're armed with a camera and you have YouTube at your disposal. Yeah, you want to share your shit. You want to be like, this is how cool I am. Like, oh, this is what I'm wearing. This is what I do. You're braggadocious. You have that braggadocious energy within you. But as you get older, I feel like you naturally kind of lose it. And you kind of, I don't know, you just like, it's almost like you kind of like, you start to see all that stuff as just noise. It's confetti. You know what I mean? And you kind of sober up in a sense where you're like, you know what? This is what life is about. And you start to see where life is really kind of like where the truth is, like where the joy is really coming from. And then, I don't know, you start to align your day-to-day to kind of try to like find that more consistently rather than having all this noise around you to kind of prop up a fake thing, like this noisy, bombastic version of yourself that wants to like show off. At least I think that's how I feel when I look back upon myself. And then sometimes I like look at like, we watch our old vlogs and like, yeah, like it's kind of cringe or whatever. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I mean, just looking back at my old like Instagram post or whatever, you're just like, ugh, why did I post that?
What a fucking idiot. I think that about myself a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Luca's birthday was fun. And yeah, man.
Yeah, I wish I could have been there, but couldn't.
All good. Next one.
Well, we're thinking we might come in March if you guys are there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because Diana wants to go somewhere for her birthday. I'm like, oh, why don't we just go to LA? Since we didn't go
for the 15th time.
Yeah, but we'll try to actually find things to do. There's so much to do over there, and a lot of the times we just
road trip
don't
too.
do anything.
Yeah, because like, a lot of times we just hang out at the house.
Yeah,
and I feel like, well, if you come, you want to do something. I think me and Tiff want to do stuff too, so we can do a road trip somewhere.
Yeah,
go to NorCal, or like
I don't think I want to. Maybe like a small road trip. I don't know.
Well, that's quite the conundrum there.
Well, I've always wanted to go to.
Like, I want a road trip, but I don't want to go too far.
I've always wanted to go to like Idlewild or something.
Oh, let's go to Idlewild. Okay. Idlewild is fun.
And like we were talking about like actually going up and down Venice and Santa Monica. Just some fun activities that we can't do here in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah. But if we want to do a little bit of road trip, we can too. I don't know. I just don't know what's out there, but I don't know if I want to sit in the car for like 6 hours going up to the Bay Area.
How about driving the car for 6 hours?
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't think I want to do that either. I can barely drive to Austin or Houston here, and that's only funny. 4 hours maybe.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense.
I don't know. We'll see, because Diana doesn't like being in the car for that long either.
I see.
Yeah,
but so yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you guys next week. Stay oriented.
It sounds like such a good thing to say, but then it's like also so cringe at the same time.
Yeah, like it sounds like it would just flow. It does. It's just like, and stay oriented, guys, and then
stay woke.
Yeah, I don't know. It's yeah.
All right. Well,
bye.
Peace.